Can everyone hear me now? It should be fixed. It should be fixed. Hello? Can you guys hear me? But the video is lagging now, isn't it? Is the video lagging for anyone else, or is it just me? Is it better now? Can you hear me? Is it better now? It is fine. Awesome. And I'm assuming everyone can hear me? Good. Good, good, good. Okay. So it looks like Ramesh isn't here, but anyway, sorry about that. We'll just go a bit over today then, because of this, so don't worry too much about it. You guys still get a full hour of streaming in. Welcome Deep, welcome 358orc, welcome to the stream. You guys are the only 2 people watching right now, so ask your questions away. I would like to answer Ramesh's question, but he doesn't seem to be in anymore. If Ramesh is still here, let me know so I can answer the question. Otherwise, just throw whatever you have at me here. Sorry about that. I had to restart OBS. I guess it was a problem with the Windows updating, and that kind of changed the settings a little bit. But as long as it's working now, that's good. Welcome to the stream. Sorry about the 10-minute delay here. If anything is up, if the video is bad or the audio is bad, just let me know and I'll get right on fixing that for you guys. So, I guess I'll just go with the question anyway. Maybe Ramesh will be able to see it in the other stream, and since no one's asking any questions for now, we'll just go with what we have. So, as I was starting earlier when my mic was muted, the question Ramesh asked was, I wasted a lot of time this year and I've got a huge pile of work to do. What the fuck am I supposed to do? And the basis of which is you don't want to pile up any more work. You want to start getting some of these things handled so that when the new work comes along, you'll at least have some of these things squared away. I know it sounds like a lot to do. I know you're probably overworked. I know there's a lot of stuff to do and you don't even know where to start. But the point is that you have to. I mean, you're probably so overworked. Oh, excuse me. You're probably so overworked that all you're trying to do is run away from the work. You're trying to hide somewhere. The first thing you need to do is make a plan. Prioritize the things that are going on right now that you need to get done. What is the most important thing? And then set a time aside every single day, like 5 p.m. every single day. And then at 5 p.m. every single day, you're going to drop whatever you're doing or however you're distracting yourself, and you're going to go work on these problems that you have. One step at a time. And if you have no idea how to solve these problems, type them into Google, call people that you know, ask for help, but get some of these things squared away. Otherwise, you're going to overwhelm yourself way too fast and things are just going to pile on. It's difficult when you have too much to do. It really is. But really, you can only start. You can only get some of these things out of the way. What I do when I have too much work to do is I don't sleep. I remove some of the lower priority items from my list so I can have more high priority items on there. That means sleep, that means only taking 2-minute showers, it means not working out every day, it means getting rid of everything I can so that I have more time to deal with what's really important. And then just tackling one thing at a time, getting the most important thing started, finished, and done and over with, so you don't have to bother with it again. But if you're just unsure where to start, then just write all of these things down. Make a list. What is it you have to absolutely get done? And then tackle it right away. When are you going to get this done? What do you have to do to get this done? Maybe you have to call someone to, I don't know, fix a leak in your roof. Okay, when are you going to call that person? When do you have time for them to show up? How much will that cost? When are you going to do it? And then maybe you have a huge project due at the end of the month. Okay, when are you going to work on it? How much work do you think it will take? When are the times when you get it done? Planning it out in great detail eases your worries by a lot. So I would really recommend everyone to do that. That's really stressed about what they do. I hope they kind of answered it. I hope that gave you a little bit of an idea. We're 4 people in here now. If any of you have any questions, just throw them at me. Ask me. That's what I'm here for. That's what this live stream is. I don't want to, talk to you about any random topic. This is a Q&A stream. So ask me. What's burning on your mind? What would you like to know? What is it that's maybe not going so well in your life? What is it you want to improve upon? Ask me. Hit me. What's going on? Alright, Deep has a question. He says, I can't concentrate on studying for more than 5 minutes. I get distracted very easily. Okay, so the thing you have to know about concentration and focus is what happens when you lose that focus. Most of the time, while you're focused, you're just working. You're not really focused or concentrated. You're not thinking about anything in that moment, other than maybe using your active mind to think about specifics of math problems, like what is 2 plus 2 and finding the answer to that. But other than that, you just do. You hardly think. As soon as a thought pops up, that's when you get distracted. That's when you're going out of the zone and when you get confused and when you try to run after your thoughts. And there's a lot of different ways to handle that. The first way, the one I found the best, is the most direct way. And to just accept the thoughts you're having and say, you know what, I have to work anyway. So when you're, let's say you're studying, and in your mind comes the thought, you still have to go grocery shopping today, that you're out of milk, and you still have to buy some milk today. And then that leads you to think, oh, what else do I have to buy? Oh, I should look up maybe how to make a certain dinner recipe because I don't even know what I want for dinner today. And your thoughts just spiral out of control and you get distracted. At that moment, as soon as that first thought pops up, oh, I still have to get milk, say, yes, I do, and I'll worry about that later, right now I'm studying. And then you focus back on studying. You force yourself back into that moment. That way you're teaching your mind to become more and more focused and to have less of these distracting thoughts. The other way is to handle the distracting thoughts right away. So let's say one of the distracting thoughts is you want to watch a certain movie. I don't know, Pirates of the Caribbean, you haven't watched that in a while and you'd really like to watch it again. Okay, great, awesome, that's fine. Take out a piece of paper and write it down. Write it down Friday at 7 p.m. I'm going to watch Pirates of the Caribbean. That way you get the thought out of your mind and it stops distracting you from the moment. You have it handled, and if that thought comes up again, you can look at it again. Other than that, the only way to really get distracted, or to really avoid getting distracted, is to tell yourself that you can't afford to get distracted right now. You can't afford not to be concentrated. You don't have the time, you don't have the energy, you can't do it. You have to do this work. We all have these things when we have to do something, we just do it. Because there is no but, you have to, so you go and do it. When you were a kid and you maybe went on vacation with your parents and it was, I don't know, you had to leave at 4 or 5 in the morning. You got up at 4 and 5 in the morning, you got dressed, you got your bag, and you went into the car to go on that vacation. You had to. And you would even wake up at 5 in the morning, even if you used to wake up at 9. You just did it. If you had a project in school, maybe, a paper or a test that you hadn't studied for that much or that you hadn't finished, the night before or the day of in the morning, you woke up early, you stayed up late just to get that project done because you had to. And during those times, you didn't lose your concentration because you couldn't afford to. You just had to keep going. Now I know this is a bit hardcore thinking, because you don't have to do some of these things. But that's why I would recommend for you to tell yourself, no, I have to get this done today. There is no other option. Don't think of a plan B or a plan C or whatever. You have to get this done today. Why? Because you said so. End of the story. No ifs, ands, or buts. No, you don't have any other time. No, you can't go out for friends. No, you can't watch a movie. You have to get this done right now. Period. That's what you really learn when you're self-employed, and what a lot of successful people learn the hard way. Because in those moments, they had real punishments that happened when they didn't do this. But you don't have any negative outcomes of this. You might feel bad, you're not going to get everything done. You lose your concentration, it takes you a little bit longer. You might get it worse, right? But you don't really care. But if it really punishes you, if it really hurts whenever you lose your concentration, then you'll make sure that you actually stay concentrated. It's like the carrot and the stick example. Have a carrot and the stick for yourself, whatever that means to you. I hope they gave you at least some tips here. Most of it comes through disciplined working and just repeating it over and over again and practicing it. Concentration is not something you just tap into. It's something that you practice over the course of weeks, months, years, whatever, until you get the hang of it yourself. And yeah, other than that, just say, one of my favorite things is just say, you know what, just 5 more minutes. Just 5 more minutes. I'll just study for 5 more minutes, and then I'm done. Or just 10 more minutes, or 15 more minutes, whatever you want to say. Whatever sounds easy to you. Because your mind then goes, oh, okay, and then we can distract ourselves. Great, fine, deal, compromise. I agree, let's do it. And it will help you out staying there concentrated, but after that, you do have to take a break. Because if you cheat your mind on that, it's going to punish you later on as well. Awesome. Glad I could help with that. We have 5 people in here. Welcome everyone to the stream. This is Q&A. We're going to go 10 minutes over because we had some difficulties with the audio early on. So if you have any questions, any at all, about life, about relationships, about your work, about business, about whatever, ask away. Let me know. Other than that, it'll just be me talking a little bit about whatever I can find to talk about. But I would much rather answer questions because that's what the stream is for. Alright. Okay. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Let me know if I'm not. Deep Let me know if I'm pronouncing that right. If not, I'm probably butchering it. I'm very sorry. But Deep asks, should we study in the morning or late at night? And that's a really good question, because a lot of people, a lot of successful people definitely will tell you in the morning. Do it in the morning, get it done and out of the way, just finish it. And yes, I would agree, if you get a lot of stuff done in the morning, you tend to feel better in the evening. But you're not those people. Just because it works for them doesn't mean it will work for you. Currently, I'm getting up at about 11 in the morning, and I'm working until mostly midnight before I then go to bed. And I spend a couple hours in the morning meditating, working out, doing stuff like that, but most of it, I sleep until pretty late. I sleep 9 hours. And then I get, my day basically starts at noon or 11 in the morning. That's not very early, but I still get a lot done because it just works for me right now. Earlier, I used to wake up at 5:30. So you have to look at that yourself. What works best for you? For most people, for almost everyone, I would suggest doing it very early in the morning, before you even go to school. The best time would be somewhere around 5 and 6 in the morning. Probably 5. Because it gets you out of your usual habits. That's mostly why. It gets you to do something new. Right now you're in the habit of studying maybe late at night, and you're also in the habit of when you're studying you distract yourself. So this is like the current routine you've developed. And if you get out of that routine by studying very early in the morning, or studying, at 2 in the morning, like staying up so late that you study very late, then you get out of your usual routine, and that allows you to start over in how to develop that routine, which means you are able to develop less distractions with it, you're able to stay more focused on studying, and you get a new view on all of this. One of the best things I've done is to work 24 hours straight, work through the night, even when I was incredibly tired. And it showed me that you're not limited by night and day and morning and evening. You can do it whenever you want to. But to realize that, you kind of have to try some different things. Try it early in the morning, try studying very late at night, and not just for a day. Try it for a whole month straight. Every month, wake up at 5 in the morning and study for 2 hours. And then the next month, only study from midnight until 2 in the morning. And then the next month, do it in the middle of the day. And then be honest with yourself about what works for you. Most people will not do the 5 in the morning stuff because that's out of their routine. They would rather sleep. Which is why I would recommend starting there, to get completely out of your routine, out of your comfort zone, and try something completely new. Like Moonsilver said, the worst time to study is never, so always say something. And hi Stefan, how are you? Yeah, but it's basically just exploring that. Exploring when it works best for you. And the one thing you have to know in the back of your mind there is that you need to be honest with yourself. I mean, I can look at the end of the day and see how much I got done. And if I don't get enough done, well, that's going to hurt me more than anyone else. And I can lie to myself about that and say, sure, it was fine, I studied enough, I worked enough, I did enough. But if it isn't fine, then you're only hurting yourself. No one else cares as much as you do. No one else is going to have to suffer for it. So if you're not a person that studies late at night, then don't force yourself to do that. Try it early in the morning. And if it works better early in the morning, even though you hate waking up early, then do it anyway. Because it works better for you. But just explore some of these things. Try some new things out. Alright, I hope that gave you some stuff to try out. Again, I recommend it early in the morning, but try some things out and try them out for a longer period of time. Just a day will not be enough to tell you if it works or not. Alright, any other questions? Comments, questions, just throw them at me. Even if I'm talking, keep it going so we don't always have to go through this. I hope some more people come in here, join us here. But let me know, what is it you want to know? Otherwise, we're just going to sit here for a while. Okay, and Deep has another question. I've heard good things about meditation. What tips do you have for someone who's planning to do it for the first time? I would really recommend you get an app. There is an app for iPhone and I think for Android as well that's called Headspace. And Headspace has 10 free meditations. After that is paid, and I've never tried them. Maybe they work, maybe they don't. I'm not sponsored by them anyway, or anything like that. But those 10 meditations, those 10 free meditations, are great for beginners. They're really good to get you into the feel of meditation, what meditation is all about, what to focus on, and how to start it. If you don't have a cell phone with that kind of internet, if you can't get the app for whatever reason, then I recommend looking up some guided meditations on YouTube. Guided meditations are a very good way to start getting more control over your body and your mind in terms of relaxation. You learn a lot of different tips, and you might get dragged into that a little bit. I know I did. I did guided meditations for about 3 years straight without ever touching free meditations before I finally found, that free meditations are actually pretty useful. But I would start with the guided meditations, make it easy on yourself. Get some stuff that people will guide you through it, that they'll talk you through it. That way you don't have to do all this free stuff, and you don't have to worry about doing a good job or not. Just try some guided meditations. For people that want to try free meditating for the first time, the things that worked really well for me were mostly thought things. It doesn't matter whether you're sitting or lying down. The only thing you should watch out is that you don't fall asleep. Other than that, it's okay. It's okay that your mind wanders. It's okay that you're not able to shut it off completely. It's okay that you have random thoughts every now and again. That's okay. It takes a long time to get a hang of this. My biggest recommendation is just to start and to keep doing it. I would recommend 20 to 30 minute meditations if you're doing guided meditations. If you're doing free meditations, I would recommend somewhere about 5 or 10 minute meditations to start out. The reason for that is because the 5 to 10 minute free meditations will seem a lot longer. And there's actually a tip from Eckhart Tolle that he has in the last pages of The Power of Now. He gives his own tips on meditations, and that's something that's worked really well for me, but it doesn't work for everyone. I just still want to give it to you. This is from Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. If you haven't read it, get that book. But the tip he says is to pay attention to the nothingness. Great. Awesome. What does that mean? So that means you focus on one of your senses, mostly hearing or seeing is the best. And then when you're listening, when you're meditating, when you're quiet, you have your eyes closed, you try to listen to silence. You try to listen to the silence between all the noise that's coming in. Maybe you're sitting at home and your computer is running or cars are going by outside. Try to pay attention to every time there's silence. There's no sound going on. And try to focus on that. That gives you something to do, and it also allows your thoughts to... It prevents you from thinking too much, basically. It allows you to pay attention to something, to focus on nothing. The same thing when you're seeing, when you're looking. You can also sit quietly and look around, and then try to look at the empty spaces between things. For example, from me to the camera right now, there's a lot of air, a lot of empty space. Okay, now I'll try to focus on that, I'll try to see that, I'll try to zone in on that. It sounds pretty weird, and like I said, this doesn't work for everyone. This is pretty high meditative stuff, but if you can do that, it will work great for you. Okay, I hope that answers your question a bit, gave you some tips again. Just for recap, I recommend Headspace if you can get it. If you can't get it, guided meditations. If you can't do guided meditations, short free meditations focusing on the silence or nothingness, and just keep going. You'll get better. You'll get the hang of it. One day you'll realize, hey, I know how to shut off my thoughts. And until then, just meditate regularly. Every day, 5 to 10 minutes, 15 minutes if you can. Half an hour will be great. Okay. 358org or 358org asks how to deal with the stress of being at the same place with a lot of people. Can you expand on that question a little bit? Do you mean when you go into a new setting with the same people, or do you mean at work with the same people, or do you mean with the same negative people? What is it? Could you explain that maybe a bit more in depth? Maybe you're stressed because you're in a place that always has a lot of people who work at that place, so you always have to go there. Is that what you mean? Because depending on what you mean by that, I'm going to answer this a very different way. So let me know. We'll wait, no problem. If anyone else has any questions, let me know. Throw them at me. This is the first question I'm going to take, and after that, the floor is open again for anyone who has a question. Just okay, just being around people, usually people I know, okay. If you're very stressed with being around a lot of people, it's mostly coming from you thinking that you have to prove yourself in some way, that they need to view you in a good light. You're thinking about what they're thinking of you. Because let's look at it from the other area. If you don't care what other people think of you, if you really don't care at all, if it doesn't matter to you in any way, then who cares? Then you could be alone or with a lot of people, it will basically be the same difference. There will not be any stress there. So when you're with a lot of people, realize first that most of the stress is coming from you trying to impress them or be someone that they look up to or they like, or you're trying to in some way make their thoughts about you something positive. That's mostly why you're stressed. If that is the case, and when you realize you are stressed out like that, there's a couple things you can do. The first thing is realize that you're just an extra in a movie. They don't really care about you. They care mostly about their own image, about what they're doing, and about what's working for them, how they can handle the situation, what ways they can make other people look at them in a better light. You're just an extra. And I mean, try to remember the last time you cared about an extra in any movie. Thousands, hundreds, millions of extras die in some movies, and you don't give a single care in the world. This is how most other people view you. Now, sometimes you're a supporting character, but you're never the main cast. The main cast is always only them. Now, once you realize that, hopefully it'll take a little bit of pressure off of you, because they don't really care about you all that much. Another thing you can look at is try to remember how many people you remember coming across yesterday. Even at the people you like and you spend a lot of time with, do you remember what they were wearing? What was the coolest thing they did? What was the most embarrassing thing they did? What was a nice thing they did? Can you even name one of these things for the people you interacted with yesterday? Most likely you can't, because you really don't pay that much attention to others. And they don't pay that much attention to you either. So just relax. Take it easy. No one really cares. And if you still don't believe me, then go and ask them. Ask them, hey, what was the last embarrassing thing I did that you remember? Most likely, they might remember something really embarrassing from maybe a year or two ago, which probably shouldn't matter anyway. But they're not going to remember yesterday or last week or last month, guaranteed, unless something really big happened. And then the third thing I would recommend you do is to realize that no matter what they think of you, it's not going to change you in any way. You're still going to be the same person. Millions of people can think I'm an asshole. Okay, great. It's not going to change anything at all. I'm still me. Millions of people can think you're stupid, or you're annoying, or you're arrogant. So what? You're still you. They may be wrong, they may be right, who cares? You're still you. And if they think you're the best person in the world, it's not going to change you either. No matter what they think, no matter what they say, no matter what stuff they do, at the end of it all, you're still you. Even if it's your boss, even if your boss ends up, hating your guts and firing you because of it, even if you're at rock bottom, you're still you. That's something that can never go away. So, when you're next time around stressful people, or around a lot of people and get stressed, remember those three things, and just take a deep breath and relax. They don't care. The only person that cares that much is you. Okay, but making them think positive things about me is them affecting me. Yes, if they think positively about you, that does affect you in some way. But you can't control that. You can't control what they think. And you can't know what they think either. Now, I can go out to a party and try my hardest for everyone to like me. Sure, I can do that. But in no way does that guarantee that anyone likes me at the end of it. I don't know what they think. People lie, people cheat, people tell you they like you and then never call you or never speak to you again because they actually hate your guts. So why are you trying so hard if you can't really know? You can't control this thing. You can't control what other people think of you. The only thing you can control is what you think of and what you do. So do the best you can. Do the best you can. Hope they like you. Hope that's enough. And if it isn't, okay, whatever. Because the people that don't really care about you, the people that think negatively about you, they don't matter. If you let them affect you, if you let them matter, then you're just going to get more negative, which means the chances are going to increase that more people will think negatively about you, and it's going to be a downward spiral. So just relax. Take it easy. You don't have to try so hard. Trust me. Okay. We have about another half hour, we're about halfway through the stream, and I have no questions. Come on, guys. What's going on? If this was everything, I would be out of a job. I know there's more stuff that you guys need to know or want to know. So hit me. I'm fine with not saying anything for a while. Alright, Samuel Hunter's in here. Hi Sam, how are you? Glad you came back to the stream. I know you were in here last week. Great to see you again. Sam's asking codependent behavior. Trying to control other people by your actions and behavior. That's more of a statement. Can you form that into a good question? Because there's a lot of different ways I can take this, and I want to really answer what you want to know about this. Are you asking, is it bad? Are you asking how to control other people? Are you asking how to influence other people? Are you asking how to avoid being codependent of other people? Where do you want to take this? Okay, just piggybacking on an earlier topic. Okay, so I'll say this. There's two things I want to say about this, two main parts. Hopefully I'll remember the second one once I finish with the first one. But the first part I want to say is that you cannot control anyone. You can't. No matter how much you try, you cannot force anyone to do anything they don't want to. You can be very suggestive. That's what psychology is all about. They talk a lot about suggestive ways for you to guide people to certain actions that increase the likelihood that they will do that action. But that doesn't guarantee that action. It doesn't mean they will behave the way you want them to behave. The only thing, if you really want the best for people, and I'm assuming that you're a nice guy and you do want the best of people, for people, the one thing you should do to guide them to a better life is to show them how it can be done. Show them the great lives. Show them how to live a better life yourself. You can, and the best example for this is, you can imagine two camels in the desert, right? You can force one of these camels to the water, but you cannot force it to drink. You can throw the water in its mouth, you can, lift its head up, chug the water down, but it doesn't have to swallow it. You can't force anything on them to it. But if you want to, maybe guide the camels there, you can show them that there even is an oasis. You can show them that there is water. You can show them that this way they can quench their thirst. In the same way, when you're being your best, when you are being happy, when you are excited, when you're living a large life, people will see that. And they'll ask you, hey, how are you doing that? How do you get all of this? How did you manage this? And then when they ask you, then you can help them, because then they're open to that. But other than that, you can't control anyone that way. The only thing you can do is influence them. Influence them negatively and positively depending on your mood and your actions. Then the other thing I really want to say though is that a lot of us look up to these people that are living a better life, that are looking that are happy, that are successful, that have a lot of stuff, and then we try to be exactly like them. We don't necessarily depend on them, but we are too scared to take responsibility ourselves. It's so much easier to just put all of the responsibility on someone else and say, you know what, you show me. How does this work? How do I go about this? How do I make my life better? And then you just sit back and wait. With open eyes, with big eyes, and you just hope that they give you something good. And that's only because you're too comfortable to take the responsibility yourself. This happens a lot in relationships, where one partner heavily depends on the other partner for their happiness, for their success, for their lifestyle, because they don't want to take that responsibility themselves. That would be codependency, I think, if that's really what you mean with that. And when you do that, the only way to really get out of that is to realize that they are not responsible for you in any way. You are letting them be responsible for you, but that is your choice, and they don't have to follow through with that. In that case, you should ask yourself, is that really the life you want? Because you're just taking the first suggestions they throw at you and living your life out that way. You're not thinking for yourself. You're not thinking if this really is what you want. You're just trying to spend time not doing a lot of work. A lot of people do that, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. You can live a happy life. I mean, if you find the right person to be dependent upon, and if they take up the responsibility and they're totally fine with it, go right ahead. It means less work for you. But the way they direct your life may not be what you want out of it at the end of your life. And the only person you have to convince that your life was one worth living is you. And if you made mistakes, that's on you, not on them. They just gave suggestions, right? We talked about that earlier. They can suggest things for you to do, but you don't have to follow through with them. When your parents tell you have to go to school, that is a very, very convincing suggestion. And if you don't go to school, you'll go to jail, that does own you, they will throw you out. Okay, that's a very convincing suggestion, but it's still a suggestion. You can still act completely different. Now, you'll have to deal with the consequences of that as well, but you have that power of choice. Stefan, I'll get to your question in a second, but we're on a roll with this now, so I'll keep it going here with Sam's question. He said, what suggestions would you have for someone that struggles with it? Oh no, this is a different one. Okay. Then, Sam, wait, I'll get to Stefan's first because he asked first. He said, how do I get myself to work out for the purpose of losing weight in the morning when I can just eat less and eating less does okay? When you're trying to lose weight, the first mistake people make is that they say something reasonable. Like, I want to lose 10 pounds, I want to lose 5 kilograms. And that's fine, but that may just be fine enough to eat a little bit less and do a little bit less work. But if you have to work out for that an hour every day, if you have to struggle for that, if you go through pain, if you have to deal with muscle soreness for days afterwards, you're not going to do that to lose 5 kilograms or 10 pounds. Screw that. That's way too much effort. Instead, the first thing I recommend is looking at what do you want to get out of that. How much weight do you want to lose? What kind of body would you love to have? Because that same work for maybe a six-pack with big abs, with good muscles, looking really sexy, yeah, that's something you could work for. That's something to struggle for an hour a day. That's something to be, to go through pain for, but not to lose 5 or 10 pounds. Screw that. No one will do that. The other thing you should recognize when you're trying to work out instead of just lose weight is what's really going to be the most effective for you. And I'm bouncing this off of something I said earlier, that you have to check yourself what will work best for you. If eating less works fine for you and you're okay with that weight loss, then okay. Then do that. Then there's no problem here. But in you just asking this question, it shows that it's not good. It might be fine, but it's not good. So what else can you do? What else will working out do for you? Think about the positive things that working out will do for you, and think about the negative things that not working out will do for you. And try to see if you can motivate yourself for that. But as I said, if you just want to lose weight, then your motivation may not be that high to go through that entire struggle of working out. If you have a goal, though, that does more than that and that motivates you to go through the struggle, then you'll work out. But for that, you need to be very clear about what you want. If you just want to lose 5 or 10 pounds, you're not going to work out in the morning. At least not for long. You might be able to convince yourself once or twice, but after that you'll throw it because it's just not worth it. So you have to look at what is it worth. If you just want to eat less and are okay with that, then great. But if you want a little bit more, then you have to raise your goal a little bit. Get more out of it. Have something that motivates you a bit more. Okay. Other than that, my tip for you would just be to do it. One of the things that really worked well for me was that I said before 6 a.m. I need to have done my workout. Period. No questions asked. Until 6 a.m. I have time, otherwise I missed the opportunity. Otherwise it's done. I have to do it before 6 in the morning. That way I got up in time and did my workout. Even if it was stress, even if it was really short, I still did it because I had to. But you have to really hold yourself to that and you really have to make it a must. That has to be in the back of your mind. That's my one short tip for you. My goal is not to die by the age of 50 because I'm overweight. Well, hey, look at that. Think about that. If that's your goal, then look at that. What would it mean if you die by 50? Don't use this as a joke. I don't want to do this. I don't want to die by the age of 50. If that's really a concern for you, then look into it. Take it serious. You don't want to die by the age of 50. And the way you are going, you might. I don't know. You might be overweight. This might be a problem for you. Take it serious. We try to do a lot with humor and try to take the responsibility off for it, but maybe it's time to be a bit more serious about this kind of stuff. Alright. Sam asks, and Daryl wanted to ask this too, what suggestions would you have for someone that struggles with anxiety, fear, and fret? The most uncommon thing you'll hear, and this is I guess my best tip for you, is to let it overtake you. When you feel anxiety, when you're afraid, when you fret about some things, don't try to block it out. Don't try to run away from it somewhere. Don't try to distract yourself with other things. Instead, sit back and feel that fear. Really feel that anxiety. Allow that fear to have room. Be scared for a minute. And then see what comes up. See if that fear actually has ground. Most of the time, anxiety, fear, stress, anger, all of these emotions, are just random thoughts that have no base. Oh, what if I don't make it? What if I fail this test? Oh no, I might lose my job, then I might lose every opportunity later in life, I might, everything falls apart, my parents might hate me. Sure, yes, that may happen. Now let's look at how likely that is to happen just because you failed the test. Okay, maybe 5%, maybe 10% chance. Okay, what's the other 90? What's way more likely to happen? Don't just allow this thought to get into your mind and overtake everything. Allow the emotion to overtake, really allow you to feel it, so that you give it the room, and then look into it and see, where are you coming from? Why am I so afraid? Is this really logical? Does this really make sense that I'm this afraid? And if it doesn't make sense, then the next step is to make a plan to solve it, to solve that problem. If you are afraid that you lose your job, and if that's a very legitimate fear you have, then find out ways to make sure you are valuable to the company so that you don't lose your job. Make a plan of action, because action is the only way you'll get out of these thoughts. If you act on these thoughts, or if you act to counteract these thoughts, you're going to experience a lot less fear, a lot less anxiety. So in that moment you feel afraid, first of all, sit back, relax, and allow yourself to feel. Be afraid, be very afraid. Think the worst thing that can happen. Okay? Now we're at the worst thing. You know, you failed the test and you ended up in Africa with both your legs cut off in some random hospital. Don't know how you got there from that, but maybe that's something you're afraid of. Okay. What would you do then? What can you do right now to counteract this fear? What can you do so that doesn't happen? And then make a set in stone plan. Step 1, I can do this. Step 2, I can do this. Step 3, I can do this. And then go out and do it. The other way to get rid of this anxiety, get rid of this fear, is to just be present for it for just a second. Sit back and say, it's going to be okay. Because until now, everything you've worked through, everything you've done in life, you've been through. You've done that. You've went through all the past fears, all the past anxieties, and here you are. You're still standing. You're still here right now. So who's to say that you can't get through this again? Does this fear really have a base? It's getting really hot in here. I'm sorry, I look very sweaty, but that's because it's very warm outside and the sun's shining right in here. We'll go for about 5 or 10 more minutes because otherwise I'm just going to die here. 358 org asked, how should I know which profession to choose? That's a really difficult question. It's about passion, it's about which profession would be the best for you. And honestly speaking, I can't know that. No one can. You can try a lot of things like Moonsilver or Stefan suggests here and just see what works best for you, sure. But my suggestion would be to look at what you really want to get out of life in the very, very long term. 50 years from now, what is it that you want to have? What is it that is important to you? How do you envision your life at that point in time? And don't just be general, don't say you want a big house and a happy family and good paying job and you want to be happy doing what you do. Don't do that. Think about if I was a genie, if I could fulfill you any wishes you want, not just 3, any, and all of them. In terms of your work, in terms of your profession, what would you wish for? Maybe you love to paint, and you would wish yourself that you had an art gallery, you would be a successful painter, that you would travel the world at various galleries to show off your art and to talk to other famous artists. You would wish that you had just a wife and no kids, so it's easier to travel with them, and you would see the world that way. And some days you would just, go to a very beautiful place, rent that entire place out hire guards so that you don't get disrupted, and just paint. That's a very detailed vision of your life in the future. And based on that, you can go back to now and ask yourself, what is the best way to get there? But to get such a vision, it takes time. You need to sit back, or you need to sit down on your chair and just think about this. Take 30 minutes, take an hour, and really think, what are all of the things that you want later in life? What are the specifics? If you want a partner, what does the partner look like? What do they have? What makes them so good? What should they have? Do they have glasses? What hair color do they have? How nice are they? How often do they want to have sex? You know, all of these different things. And the more specific you can be, the more control you have over actually getting it, and the more you can act on these things. Now this was about the partner, you are asking about the profession, okay, same thing. What does your job entail? How many coworkers do you have? How far are you in this job? What would you have to have in this job? What would your work day consist of mostly? Would you work on a computer? Would you write? Would you draw? Would you travel? Would you talk to people most of the time? Would you tell people what to do? What do you want? Do you want to be in the laboratory? Do you want to study some things? Do you just want to teach in front of a large crowd? I don't know. Do you want to design snowboards? Do you want to test snowboards? Do you want to test roller coaster rides? I don't know. Ask yourself, what would be the things you want to do? And I would recommend just sitting down and writing down every little detail about what you want. Everything that comes to mind. And then looking at what profession suits that dream, that vision, the best. What could I do right now? What could I study? What could I work towards that would give me that vision? I don't know what I want. Just doing my best, and if I will try, I will do it half of my life. I would say, obviously with this thing, if you're doing this, you can't be sure that this is the right thing, and you're not even sure that this will last forever. But that's not the point. The point is that this is something you want right now, so work towards it. Do something about that. Get it done. See how far you can go with this. And if you find something better, if you find something that drives you even more, that creates even more passion, more excitement within you, then add that too. Don't do that instead, but add that as well. You can do anything you want in life and make anything work, especially if you start right now. Maybe by the time you're 40, you'll get it. Maybe you have to work 20 years. Maybe by the time you're 60, you'll get it. Maybe by the time you're 80, you will get it. But that still means that once you get it, you're able to live the rest of your life having exactly what you want and doing exactly what you want. Moonsilver says, another perspective I've heard on this is find something you find of value and do that since you will develop a passion for it eventually. Yes. If you take something you like and invest a lot of time and energy into it, you will become passionate about it. You can become passionate about anything and everything. But, that being said, you still have to know what gives you value in the first place. Passion is, the second thing on that. But what makes you feel like your life has meaning? The artists we talked about, maybe that's a life that they can envision for themselves, where they produce the best possible paintings, and that gives them a real sense of fulfillment. Then do that. Even if you're not that passionate about that art in the first place, or if you miss some days, you still can become more passionate about it. Now, as you said, you can also take this, and I could go right now and, I really like Taekwondo. I could go and become really passionate about that and make that my life's work. If I invest 8+ hours every day into it and practice it and work on it and do stuff with it, I can make a living doing that, I can become amazing at it, and I can become really passionate about it. You just have to see what you want to invest your time into. I could even invest time into working in the sewers, and if I work 8 hours a day, if I learn about it, if I focus my entire life around that, then I'll even become passionate working in the sewers. Now, that'll take a lot of effort to become that passionate about it, and it's not something I like doing, so it's not something I really want to invest that much time into, but you can. That's the point. So you will have to see. What I would recommend everyone that doesn't know what they want to do is to sit down and just write it out. Write out every single detail you can. Even if it takes you a couple of weeks to finish writing it out, that's okay. Just start. What do you want? What more details can you have? I have these tiny little notebooks next to my desk where I write all my files down. And I would recommend buying one of those so that whenever you're out, whenever you envision your life in the future, you can keep writing, you can keep adding details. And then the only step you have to take after that is to look at the best possible way you know to get that life. You may not take the best route right away. That's okay. Do what you can. The point is that you do something right now. There's something better comes along, you add that as well. Things change, you change, life changes, things happen that you can't account for, and you can only do your best. Okay. I'm going to take one more question. Whoever comes first serves first. One more question, and then we're going to end the stream off. Or if you guys want me to say something motivating, or if you guys want me to talk about what I'm interested in, you can ask me that as well. But yeah, I want to talk about one more thing before we end this off. So if anyone has a question, feel free to ask me. Nice troll there. I'm not going to answer that question. How about we take another one instead of a Pokemon question? I'll wait another minute, and if no one has anything, then I'll just say something. Okay. Then I'm going to say something. And I'm going to end this, I want to end this on a little bit of a motivational note. Everyone here, everyone watching this, everyone in the entire world, you always have a choice. I talked about this earlier, and that's why I'm motivated to talk about this again. But you always have a choice on what to do. You're always choosing something. In every moment you are. Right now you're choosing to watch this. You're not choosing to be anywhere else, although you could. When you're distracting yourself, watching some TV show, you're choosing to watch that show. When you grab a bite of chocolate to eat, you're choosing to eat that chocolate. When you, even all the passive things you do, those are all choices. Your life right now is a collection of these choices. You chose that apartment, that house, that place to live in. You chose this job, to take on this job, to apply for it, to get it. You chose the skills that you have. You chose to work on them as much as you did, and you chose to have these good students start on them, and you chose the life you're living right now. You're choosing every day what to spend your time on, how much to sleep, and everything about it. Your life right now was your choice. Even if other people told you to do something different, even if your parents told you you should study medicine, you didn't have to. You always had a choice. Now, it may not have been a good choice, but you did have one. But all of that also means that whatever life you have in the future is also your choice. You can choose to work on skills right now. You can choose to work on sales, to work on speaking skills, to work on your confidence, to work on self-improvement, so that in the future, you have all of these skills. You can choose to apply to jobs totally out of your league, to talk to people out of your league, to do things that you're totally uncomfortable with, so that in the future, you have them, you're comfortable with them, and you know how they work. You can choose to do all of this. I'm choosing to do an hour live stream for you guys, so that I get practice in this, because I suck at this live streaming thing. I suck at being in front of a camera. I choose to do this right now though, so that maybe in 5 or 10 years, I have a large audience. I'm able to talk freely in front of millions of people. And I'm also choosing this so I get more practice in helping you guys out, to know how to do this, to make this easier for you, to give you guys some value, to become better at that as well. You can choose the life you are going to lead, but you're going to have to choose to do these things today. What you choose to do today will affect your future in some way, and you can choose the life you're going to live. But you're going to have to make the choices starting now. Just as you did in the past that led you to this life, you can make the choices now to lead you to any future you want. I never said it would be easy, but you do have a choice. And with that, I'm going to get the stream off. I hope you guys got some value out of it. I hope this was a fun stream. It felt a little bit awkward at times, and I'm sorry about that. Like I said, I'm still practicing this as well, and I hope to give you guys a lot more value in the future. Let me know. I hope to see everyone again next week on next stream. And until then, have a good week, everyone. And now you get to see me awkwardly try to close the stream.